Good morning. It's a chilly morning here in Durham, North Carolina, hence my warm sweatshirt. Um, how are you doing this morning? Let's ask a question first and see where everybody is. What was your moment of greatest satisfaction professionally this week? Small, large, profound, or mundane? What was like the biggest moment of satisfaction for you? For me, it was being able to talk to somebody who's getting lymph drainage following surgery and helping her set realistic expectations on what she can expect from her recovery and what lymph drainage can and can't do for her. I always find that satisfying when people who don't have enough information about a process that their body's going through to be able to fill in that gap of information for them just based on a lot of experience. So that was my big satisfaction for the week professionally. What about you? Drop it on in down there in that comment box if you've got anything to share. And you can do it while I'm live, or you can do it if you're watching this after the fact. I'm always interested in what's going on with people. Today, I want to talk about something that I saw in the Massage Entrepreneurs Facebook group. If you're really interested in some of the details of running a business, especially some of the nuts and bolts, and even some of the more nerdy technical aspects of pricing and numbers and that sort of thing, you should look at this group. I think they do a great job. But anyway, somebody started a lively conversation this week about how you price your 90-minute session. And we're always assuming in relationship to your 60-minute session, because that's the standard we use for how we set our pricing. Is how do you price an hour massage? And I'm curious. There's two schools of thought, and I'd like to know how you fall out on that. School of thought one is that you should price 90-minute appointments attractively, that they are less than 1.5 times a 60-minute appointment, because you want to drive people to 90-minute appointments. You want to give them some encouragement to go with that 90-minute appointment for a bunch of reasons. Or, second school of thought is a 90-minute appointment is 1.5 times a 60-minute appointment. Keep it simple. I don't care what people pick, but for me to make money for the time I spend, 60 minutes is this price, 90 minutes is 1.5 times that price. If you offer, before I get into explaining how people kind of rationalize these choices, what do? Do you charge a little bit less to attract people to a 90-minute appointment, or 1.5 times because it's just math? And I'd love to see you comment on that. The place I work charges less for a 90-minute appointment. I don't know that the owner is intentionally trying to drive people to 90-minute appointments, or she's maybe a little uncomfortable with raising the 90-minute appointments as much as she would need to keep up with raises in the 60-minute appointments. Don't know. When I ran my private practice, I was a simplicity gal. 60 minutes cost one thing, 90 minutes cost 1.5 times that. Keep it simple. That was my math. But the folks in the Massage Entrepreneur group came up with some interesting arguments. They primarily come down to 2 points of view. One, you use fewer resources when you're doing a lot of 90-minute appointments. That over the course of a week, if you do mostly 90-minute appointments, you need fewer sheets than if they're all 60-minute appointments. You can do fewer of them. You don't have to do as much cleaning. You don't have to use as much oil. There's not as much paperwork because you don't have to fill out as many session notes. All of that sort of thing. That if you're filling a week's schedule up with 90-minute appointments, there are fewer of them, so you are expending fewer resources. In addition, some people feel strongly, and they're not entirely wrong, that you can do more in a 90-minute session than a 60-minute session. You can accomplish more. You can help clients receive the results and the change that they're looking for more effectively in a 90-minute appointment. This is not always true, but a lot of people are operating from that experience. They prefer the 90-minute appointment because they feel like they can be more effective and help clients reach their goals. So that's why people do the 90 minutes slightly less, proportionally. And those are two pretty solid reasons. If you want to go that route, those are pretty solid reasons to do it. Now, the one about using fewer resources, I think really only works if most of your appointments in a week are 90 minutes. If they're mostly 60 with the occasional 90-minute thrown in, I don't know if you see the same benefit in terms of using less resources. And for me, the disadvantage is if you do mostly 60, but every now and then you throw in a 90, it can be a little harder to manage an online schedule because you can end up with odd gaps that you kind of can't do anything with unless you move everybody else. For people who say that, on the other hand, a 90-minute appointment should be 1.5 times a 60-minute appointment, a lot of them are coming down to math. It's simple. 90 is 1.5 times 60. Everybody can look at that. Everybody can understand why the pricing is the way it is. Simple. No decisions need to be made. And one or two people said, the 90-minute appointment is harder on me physically. I don't get as many breaks between clients. So I don't like to encourage the 90-minute appointment. They're not wrong. Can be. And here's the thing. It's not like one of these answers is right and one of these answers is wrong. They're both correct based on what you want to deliver in your practice. And what if you're just starting out and you don't know? You don't really know if you like the 90-minute session more or not. You don't know if it's harder on you or not. You don't know if it's going to screw up your schedule or not. In that case, always go with the simple answer, which is straight math. 60, 90 is 1.5%, or 1.5 times that. It's simple. And then revisit that every year or so. Is that still true? Is this still the way I want to do it? What have I learned about me in 90-minute appointments? And if you need to, change it. You're allowed to. If you don't know where to start, always start with simple. In almost anything, always start with simple. And as you learn, you can stick with simple, or you can modify the way you approach your 90-minute appointment. Those are my thoughts. If it were up to me and I were running the practice I'm working in, I would still go with the simple 90 minutes is 1.5 times 60 because it fit me better. It worked for me better. It made more sense to me. It made more sense for the clients I had, clients I was working with, and I liked that. So, I don't know what your experience is, though. What do you think about that? Do you even like doing 90-minute massages? Do you have even other time lengths that you use? Some people on there were talking about doing like 2-hour massages. And I know a guy that would do that. All of his appointments were 2-hour massages. Somebody's even talked about doing 3-hour massages regularly. But he incorporates a lot of stuff in it besides just the rubbing. So we have a lot of flexibility in how we do this. If you're thinking about this and going, well, what will the client think? What will the client think? It's not like the client's going to judge you yay or nay based on this solely. Now, if you're offering only 2 hours or only 3 hours, the way you promote your practice has to make it clear to the public why you're doing that so they'll know if it's a good fit for them. It's not that it's you can or you can't do it because you will or you won't get clients. It's you promote yourself in a way that people understand why you made this choice, and then they can decide for themselves if it's attractive to them or not. That's my reflection on the whole question of the 90-minute massage and how you price it. I am curious how you think about that and how you price your sessions. And again, if this kind of conversation interests you, well, keep watching my Facebook Lives, but also go out and check out the Facebook group Massage Entrepreneurs. Because these are people that will have serious conversations about it, and it generally does not descend into the kind of name-calling bitchiness that you can get in some other groups. So those are my thoughts for you on this Friday. I'll be back on Monday, and I'll be looking for your opinion about something else. Haven't decided what yet. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you've had a good week, and that something that made you feel good professionally came out of the week for you. Small, large, whatever. And I hope to see you on Monday. Take good care of yourself. Be good to yourself. And may the world be just as good to you. All right. Bye-bye.